You know, we spend so much time looking up at the stars, searching for aliens, for some kind of bizarre new life. But what if I told you the most alien world on the planet isn't out there? It's right here, hidden deep beneath the waves. Today, we're exploring the absolute masters of biological stealth. Get this, over 80%. That's how much of our own planet's oceans are a complete mystery. I mean, totally unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. It's wild, right? We literally have more detailed maps of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. This is the last true frontier on Earth.
And the creatures that live down there, oh man, they're often described as making science fiction look like a bedtime story. And that's not an exaggeration. These aren't just animals. They are living, breathing survival machines, forged in an environment that is just completely hostile to life as we know it.
Just think about the challenge for a second. We're talking about pressure that could crush a submarine like a soda can. A darkness so total, so absolute, that having eyes is basically pointless. And it's all happening in near-freezing temperatures. So to survive down there, you can't just be tough, you have to be clever. And a lot of the time, you have to be invisible.
So that brings us to the big question, right? The whole point of this. How in the world do you hunt, hide, and just survive in a place where the normal rules of light and sight just don't apply? Well, the answer is an incredible evolutionary arms race. An arms race in biological stealth.
All right, so let's start with the most obvious approach. Or maybe not so obvious. How do you master visual camouflage in a world with almost no light to begin with? It sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? But, well, nature is pretty clever.
Okay, so check this out. This is fascinating. You have two completely opposite solutions to the exact same problem. On one side, you've got the Pacific black dragon. Its skin is so intensely black, it's like a hole in the universe. It absorbs 99.5% of any light that dares to touch it. Then on the other side of the coin, you've got the telescope octopus. It does the total opposite. It becomes a living ghost. It's almost entirely see-through, just letting light pass right through its body. It's amazing, right? Two totally different paths to the same goal. How to just vanish.
But what about that middle ground? You know, the twilight zone, where there's still a tiny bit of light filtering down from way, way up top? Well, that's where things get really clever. It's a trick called counter-illumination. Take a look at the hatchetfish. It has these amazing light-producing organs all over its belly. And what it does is, it perfectly adjusts that light to match the faint glow coming from the surface. So, and this is the genius part, if a predator is lurking below and looks up, poof, the hatchetfish has no shadow, no silhouette. It's just gone.
Okay, so hiding is one thing. That's defense. But what happens when stealth isn't for hiding? What happens when it becomes a weapon? Let's talk about the masters of the ambush.
Think about the predator's problem down there. It's this huge, empty, black space. There's nowhere to hide. You can't sneak up behind a rock because there are no rocks. So how do you get close enough to your prey to actually strike? The solutions? Well, they are nothing short of genius.
Simple. You don't hide, you become the trap. I mean, look at the humpback anglerfish. It's pretty much the poster child for deep-sea nightmares, right? It doesn't waste energy chasing anything. Nope. It just dangles this tiny, mesmerizing, glowing lure in the absolute darkness and waits. It just waits for some poor, curious fish to think, ooh, what's that? And swim right into its waiting jaws.
Or you could just become a giant swimming mouth. That's basically what the gulper eel is. It just hangs out, waiting patiently for something to drift by. And when it does, wham! Its jaw, which is barely hinged, just expands like this horrifying balloon. It lets the eel swallow prey that is way, way bigger than it is. One gulp, game over.
And if you thought that was weird, hold on. It gets even more bizarre, mechanically speaking. Let me introduce you to the Greenland Shark. This thing is a living fossil. Its jaw, it isn't attached like a normal jaw. It literally catapults out of its own face to snatch its prey. I'm not kidding. It's an ambush predator that weaponizes its own face. Unreal.
All right, deep breath. Because now we're going into the really mind-bending stuff. The stuff that's beyond sight. We're talking about stealth adaptations that mess with senses we barely even think about, in a world of sound, pressure, and invisible light. So this is absolutely next level. Think about how something like a dolphin hunts. It uses sonar, right? It sends out a ping and listens for the echo bouncing back. Well, when that ping hits the Black Sea Devil, something incredible happens. Or rather, nothing happens. The fish's skin is designed to literally trap the sound wave, so nothing bounces back. To that dolphin's sonar, the fish is a ghost. It's just not there. This is the kind of acoustic camouflage our own military engineers have been dreaming of for decades.
Okay, let's be practical. If you live 4,000 meters down in total blackness, what's the point of having eyes? They're just a waste of energy. So the faceless fish, it just got rid of them. It basically abandoned sight altogether. And instead, it developed this unbelievable sense of touch, or pressure. It can feel the tiniest change in the water around it, the faintest pressure wave from approaching prey, with a precision that no eye could ever hope for in the dark. It's just perfect evolution in action. Get rid of what's useless and max out what works.
Which brings us to, well, what I think might be the ultimate deep-sea stealth hunter. This is a creature that has an advantage so profound, it's like something out of science fiction. Seriously, it's like it's from another planet. We're talking about the deep-sea dragonfish.
Okay, so here's the secret. Almost every living thing in the deep sea has evolved to only see blue and green light. Why? Because those are the only colors that can actually travel that far down in the water. Everything else gets filtered out. But the dragonfish, it has a secret weapon. It can produce its own red light, and it's the only one that can see it. Do you get what that means? It's swimming around with its own private, invisible spotlight. Its prey is completely blind to it. It's a true ninja, hunting with night vision goggles that only it possesses.
So let's just pause for a second. After seeing all of that, what does it all mean? And more importantly, what does it tell us about the huge, huge parts of the ocean we haven't even seen yet?
I mean, we've really seen a whole toolkit of stealth, haven't we? You've got your basic visual stealth, go ultra black or go totally transparent. Then you've got ambush stealth, turn your own body into a lure or a trap. And then you have the really wild stuff, sensory stealth, swallowing sound, hunting with invisible light. It's just an incredible diversity of strategies.
But here's the kicker, the most mind-blowing fact of all. Every single one of these amazing sci-fi creatures we've just looked at, they all come from the measly 20% of the ocean that we've actually managed to explore.
So that leaves us with one last big question to ponder. If these are the secrets of invisibility we found in just that tiny fraction we've seen, just imagine what else is out there. What other biological marvels are hiding in that other 80%, remaining completely and utterly invisible?